yo, hello, yo, love. Critically acclaimed. Ice Coast the name. Good life. Good music a bouncing and me ears the melody so sweet. Rhythm yes so bad, myself I put it on repeat. Baga hot y'all me see ya bounce and dancing at the street.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your girl, Miss Phenom, aka Miss JL Domond, and I'm out here letting y'all know about my music, know about my books, know about my dancing, everything that I do and I love to do. About to put y'all on straight out of BK. You know how he does it. So, growing up, writing was always the first thing that I went to, and I even was able to publish, like when I was young, stories of children, stories to make a book. And then I went on to high school and I was in my school newspaper. That was a vibe. Always was writing poetry, writing stories in English class. And then when I went to college, I got an internship at an Insight magazine where I started getting published and going to actual events with the press, you know, and I would, with the press, release badges. And I was like, yo, I'm born to do this. This is what I do. This is what I love. And as most college folks do, I got sidetracked and I got really more into my music and poetic side. And I was like, you know what? I want to follow career rap. So I ended up living my life mostly like that for a while, along with my spiritual spacing and exploring my dancing skills there. I got led back to the thing that I started loving, and that's writing. That's what I'm doing. I have 2 books already, Get Out of My Head. This is my second one, Spirit of a Woman with Merch. And then my next one coming out at the end of January called A Black Girl's Thoughts in Haiku Form. So, yeah, that's where we at. I just had this burning dream. People always say when you feel your passion, you know it, and it's gonna bother you even if you try to ignore it. And that's what this book, the first book, was doing for me, because I was had an excuse. I wanted to write a novel first, and I was like, I don't have enough time. And something in my spirit said, after watching a sermon, because I told you my spiritual side helped me start seeing things differently. And something in my spirit said, work with what you got. And I looked over and I got all these old journals of poetry. And it was like, you're waiting to create something when you have something already created. So I compiled my book, my poetry. The process for putting poems together is harder than you guys think. You gotta set a mood, you gotta set a cohesiveness, follow through. And it was a dope process, but there's more to it than just slapping some stuff together. And so I did my research, as a journalist does, and Amazon was the spot that I found was a good place for me to publish the book. So it's very simple. You just fill in the information that they request in the KDP publishing, and they print out the book for you. So they obviously get a part of your royalty check, and that all gets checked out in your when you use it. You'll know what you're getting and what they're getting. But I found a liaison. Instead of having them make my books and give them to my consumers, as an author, when you buy the books, you get a discount. So I said, I'm gonna make my own website, buy my book in bulk, and then I can sell it and then kind of cut them out a little bit. So that's law right there. Find a way to cut the middleman out if you can. They still a middleman, but they not a double middleman right now. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and that's just tricks, because I didn't have anyone, like you said, I haven't seen anyone publish a book. So I was researching and figuring out, making the mistakes, doing it, you know, finding a better way to do it. And I'm still doing it to this day with this Black Girl Thoughts in Haiku Form. I'm tackling a little different arena. And I want to respect the culture of it, because it is a Japanese culture. And that's why I wanted to do this, because haikus are a very effective form of communication. You got to tell somebody exactly what you mean in a minimal amount of words. And that's hard for a lot of us to do, communicate our feelings so directly. And it allows you to do that. And they focus on nature in the origin of haiku. I called it A Black Girl's Thoughts because I wanted to talk about so many different things. Love, nature, mantras, just my random thoughts, just have no box. So that's why it's called A Black Girl's Thoughts in Haiku Form. But yeah, that's the process, and just be ready to put in the work, and don't let your first draft be your final draft. I went to college, like I told y'all, for well, I don't know if I specified, but it was communications focused in print journalism. So I went to school to learn how to do this. Then, like I said, music became more of my, like, I was like, I'm still writing, just in a different form. Maybe this is it. So the thought of like Anchor or magazine was kind of like in the wind. And then when I did my 180 and kind of 360 back to journalism, I'm not gonna say the magazine. I don't wanna, ain't trying to get nobody's lawsuits. Everybody's suing everybody these days. But I worked for a particular place that had ties with the hip hop magazine, and so I went to see if I could get my article in there, and they weren't really interested. And then that's when I realized what the changes were in how hip hop is introduced to people, the industry, and stuff. I said, okay, there's a different importance. And I said, you know what, I want to do it my way. I want to do it where I get to cover the people that are really doing something, or really moving and shaking. And then I just remembered always watching Living Single and feeling connected to Khadijah. And then I said, ma'am, just create your own. Khadijah did it. Like literally, Living Single, I appreciate y'all. They say that representation doesn't matter. Representation matters. We need to see people that look like us doing stuff that we may want to do, because now I feel like I could do it because of a fictional character. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just that representation, that mindset of seeing it, and we need more of that. And that's how I decided that I'm just going to do it my way. I'm going to interview the people I want to interview, and it doesn't matter about likes, clicks, or whatever. It's about the artistry and being really of value to the culture. The way I got into that was college. Obviously, I met up with my peoples who we ended up, forming a crew. And we did our music everywhere. And then I was like, because right before I went to college, I had wrote some poetry. And my older brother told me, yo, rap that over beat Eve's I Got a Man beat. And when I rapped the poem over the Eve's I Got a Man beat, he was like, yo, you a natural. But I never, like, I was the type of person that I would replay a song and write down the lyrics to memorize the lyrics so that I could learn the song. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm like, I'm learning other people's shit. I'm not writing my own. And he was like, yeah. So when I got to college, I already had that bug in my ear. So when I met somebody on the same wave, I immediately was like, you know what? Let's do it. So that birthed Miss Phenom in the rapper form, college. And we did shows. People would ask for my autograph in college that I wasn't even planning on doing this a year ago. And I'm like, this is weird, but they listening to my lyrics, like, for real. It's not just about my body or nothing. They literally vibing with me. Like, that feeling was incredible. Performing on stage and be in front of people. Ralph McDaniels, if y'all know Video Music Box, I'll never forget. No lie. I got the videotape. I gotta find it. My mother probably got it. I did a show at Lehman College in the Bronx. And he said, when he first introduced me, he said, Miss Phenom, messed up my whole name. When I'm coming out now, any artist who know when you about to go on stage, somebody mess up your name, you like, really? Go on stage, kill it. You know what Ralph McDaniels did when he came back? Yo, Miss Phenom, y'all gonna see her? Like, I had gained his respect. I was like, you know what? I like it more like that, because I know that he was rocking with me. He came out making sure that he said my name right and promoted me like, yo, she up next. Yo, that's amazing. So even the losses is a win. I was in a magazine. I never forget my homegirl. I used to be a teacher, and she was a teacher, and she hit me up. Hip Hop Head. She hit me up. She had this magazine. She was like, so you in a magazine? I was like, what are you talking about? I did this thing at Bowery Lounge. If anybody know about Manhattan, Bowery Lounge, and they did a whole like write-up of it. Like, I was just like, yo, I could really do this. Ended up working at the gym, y'all. Out of college, I'm at the gym working. But it's funny, never despise your small beginnings, and you never know where interested people you'll meet. At the gym, what we call hip hop police used to come to the gym. And so he had a thing for my boys, and he invited us to the Lost Ones Jay-Z set. So I'm out, and Who would have thought, right? The gym. They're like, oh, you working at the gym? Shout out the gym at that time. So it was so funny because Tata was like, I was there dressed, ready to, and I wasn't showing anything, but it was, you know, I was well put together, and I was there ready to see if I would meet Jay-Z, but I didn't really want to go up to him, but I was thinking about it, whatever. And Tata was like, you one of the video girls? And I felt like trash. You would think like you would be, I would be excited. I felt like trash. I was like, video girl? Do you know what I do? Like that's what it felt like, but I couldn't say nothing, and I just walked away from the set. I didn't even try to pursue. I just walked away. And but it was just so many experiences. T.I., all of that. Then out of college, I got with a clique, a squad. Storytellers was the squad. We were right in the heart of East Flatbush, and that's actually where I was introduced, like physically, to the BCC and Ruck and Rock and stuff like that. So actually, I ended up getting Sean P to do a cameo in my video. He was just in the studio, and I was like, yo, come through. And he did, because that's how humble he was with it. Like, if he knew you, he rock with you. So I appreciate him for that. And you know, we ran together for a while, you know, the Storytellers, but then we disbanded. You know, it is what it is. So everybody went and did their thing, and I went on to do a couple of more mixtapes. Crazy thing is, I've done quite a few mixtapes. I've never done an album, and I think I'm not gonna rest till I finally do an album. I think that's what it is. And like, I still post freestyles and stuff like that, but I've kind of stopped, or I'm not in the thought of pursuing a music career right now. However, the caveat is, one story that I just want to say really quick, I wrap this up. I got asked to come to Arista, and they asked me to be a ghostwriter. I was fresh out of college, and as a journalist, I felt so offended that you would have someone plagiarize my work. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Da, 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 da. That is probably my biggest regret. Like Hov said, in life you gotta learn to live with regrets. If I knew then what I know now, I would have did it. You know what I'm saying? And so that's kind of like how I feel about music. Like, I'm a performer. I love to perform. I'm always gonna want to perform music, but I wouldn't want to be tied into like having to make music. I just like to make music. Well, some of the struggles that I've had to deal with, the disrespect is real, and that's why to this day, when I hear about women telling stories and people in the media or people just in general act like, nah, that couldn't happen, I'm like, y'all wildin'. I was on the low scale of the industry and like just saw ridiculousness. A guy came to the studio one day, he heard my music, he was like, oh, you dope. Now mind you, I got a young face, so imagine 15 years younger, I had an even younger face, you know what I'm saying? And so he started telling me, this is when Nicki was really hitting her mixtapes, he was like, yo, I need you to kind of take this route. You're a little too militant. And I was like, no, I just want to say something that I believe and I mean. And he was like, look, I'm trying to get my money right now. You dope, but you know, good luck. And that's when I was just like, I'm probably not gonna make it. I'm probably gonna Lupe Fiasco this motherfucker. So Lupe is my, yo, that was crazy. X of mine bought us tickets. I was excited to see Lupe the day of. He's supposed to be at Terminal 5. He bought us merchandise, everything. I was so excited, only for Lupe to randomly get sick and cancel. So I've never seen Lupe in concert. Thanks, Lupe. So because I do quite a few things, there are different people that I feed from. So like, when I think of rap, I think of Pac. Like, I just get emotional. Everyone who knows me already knows, so I'm not even going into this. But Pac, I used to argue with people because they say, yo, he's a hypocrite, he's this. I'm like, look how young he was. Like, people act like they never went through those phases in life. Like, imagine being under a microscope and going through certain phases in life. However, he the only one that pulled out a gun on these cops. Like, did what he was talking about. You know what I'm saying? But we don't want to focus on that. But anyway, I feel like he had this poetic, thespian, but he can also turn it on and be political, be a rapper. And when I see him, I see me. So, Pac is when I think of music. Poetry, my name is Miss Phenom. Obviously, Maya Angelou. I fell in love with poetically wise, and she was also a dancer. Like, if you read her history, she was doing mad stuff. And that Dave Chappelle interview, fire that she did. Beautiful, beautiful. My dancing is just like a mix. I really don't think, I probably pull most from my spiritual place in dancing. Like, I feed off of these different forms, but I just feel, you know what I'm saying? Then I create. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know too many dancers, names specifically. Lori Gibson, definitely grew up watching. Oh girl, I used to do the Missy videos. I'm sorry, I don't know your name, not over. But yeah, and in my activism, because people know I'm big with community, I feel like a big kindred spirit to Frederick Douglass. So in my activism space, Frederick Douglass feels like a kindred spirit to me because I read the autobiography of Frederick Douglass, and I just read of his fierceness and ability to stay. When they said he was wanted and he went to go do a speech at an anti-slavery protest, like, he was like, I don't care who checks me, I gotta, like, he just was like, I got a mission, I got a plan, I don't care what else is going on, I'm not afraid. He was fearless. Like, do you know what it takes to know you're wanted as a runaway slave and just be out here giving speeches? And then, let's not forget the infamous Independence Day speech. That speech where he told black folks, before people was thinking about Juneteenth, this is not your holiday. This is not the time to be celebrating. I'm gonna tell you what's really happening. And some people heard it and some didn't. But now, everyone hears it, because now we got Juneteenth. And so when I when I'm living in my passion of activism, sometimes when I get afraid, I'm just thinking, this mofo was out here giving speeches while he was wanted. Yeah. And I appreciate him. There were some more characteristics. You should read that book. Everybody go get that Frederick Douglass book. Trust me. You'll enjoy it. I know some people hating on him because he had a white wife. You know, that's another story for another day. That's another story for another day. Which is a topic on my talk show that I am doing. I don't know if I should give away that topic here, but... Well, I've always wondered, everybody sees me for my activism, everybody sees, you know, where I'm at with it, how I love my people. What if by chance life handed me a white man? What if by chance life handed me a white man? I've watched black women, you know, who are with white men get chewed out. And you know, low key, they energy be making me feel like I understand why people feel that way, but I still don't want to judge them because I don't know them. But I'm just wondering, how does that work? Because I know who I am and I know how I feel about my people, but sometimes you don't know who you're going to end up loving. And so that was just a thought, black girl thought. It wasn't a haiku form, but it was a black girl thought. What if an activist like me, the one you know, not on your TV, your friend, would my voice be any different? Would my voice matter less? Would it have less weight? I think about that. But check the talk show Spirit of a Woman Follow me on IG so you can know when we're about to throw that episode on the air. I was sitting at home actually before I came to this interview, and I was enjoying myself listening to some Nas. Like Nas is like, Who Shot Ya, Mobb Deep, right? And we in an era where, you know, people that are adjusting to what hip hop is now is telling people like me, like, you can't stay in the era, B. You gotta get out. There's actually good artists out here doing it in the new era. Today, after watching what I was watching, I said, I think I'm okay. I said, you know what? I don't have to. I can stay here if I want to. If I want to stay here where Nas is in the projects and Mobb Deep is over here talking about, you know what I'm saying, hell on earth, it's okay. Because what y'all, and then I saw Nas with he had the fronts on, he had the wool cap, he had the fatigue. Low key, that's what I like to see. So I don't want to see what y'all dress like nowadays. So even visually, I'm like, it's not bringing me there. Shout out Dave East. Shout out Badass. Look, I'm not even gonna do that because I'm gonna forget names. But point is, I know y'all out here. But I just appreciate my era because, like you said, there are a lot of moments when we can remember where we were. For me, 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying. So it was college. I was with my homegirl Cole and my boy Kev. Sometimes I used to call him White Boy Kev. He was Irish, but he loved rap. Like, that was our boy. And he had his Jeep. And we were, Cole and Kev were in the front seat. I was the only person in the back seat. You could hear the unwrapping of the CD. We're driving down, because I went to school in Boston, college in Boston. So we're driving down Brookline Ave, going down that hill, leaving the campus. Because what we about to do, we listened to Get Rich or Die Trying. And we just drove the city of Boston, Brookline, and we just listened to the album. And we came back like, that's fire. Like, we listened to that joint for the rest of the week. Like, that was it. That was a beautiful moment. And that's what hip hop makes me do. It helps me remember. It helps me be a voice. It helped me find my voice when I was younger. Hip hop helped me find my voice. So when I'm listening to what I'm hearing now, yes, I know we could say people have their voices. For me, that's not my voice. So it's like, that's cool. Like, low key, Biggie wasn't my voice. But then we had Common, we had like everybody was all these different spaces. Now I just hear and I gotta go dig and search for the underground. Shout out to RJ Payne and Method Man, because I was just watching that Butterfly Effect the other day. I love that video. Shout out to you, and he doing his thing. He just got an album with Lloyd Banks. Why am I'm out here doing the whole marketing energy. So the music industry is very fickle, and look, EPMD, Tribe Called Quest, they all been telling us from the beginning to stay away. Rule number 1080, the record industry is shady. Like, they've been telling you. But we do know that people do get positive outcomes. They do get good contracts. But there's the word of social media. So I just want to say, first and foremost, for those people that may be pursuing music that may sound like how I did, first, you need to understand why you're doing it. What is your goal? What is your reason when you hear a beat and you go to your pad and you write the lyrics and then you whatever with the song? What is the goal? Then the second question is, how much are you willing to sacrifice for the goal? What and who are you willing to sacrifice for the goal? Please don't cut this into no Illuminati shit. In real life, everything comes with a sacrifice. If you stay awake, you sacrifice sleep. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I refer to. And then you have to think about, does it matter if you don't get that money? Will you still pursue it? Or will it become a hobby? And prepare for that. Because you have to be honest with yourself about what's happening in this industry and how much effort you So, as a Leo, and as an outspoken person, and someone who really dote as the life of the party, I had a surface level of confidence for a very long time as a teenager into my 20s. But there were things that I hadn't dealt with emotionally or in my childhood that if you dug a little deeper, you could probably see the insecurities. So the way the confidence got built is because as a Leo also, it's about any means necessary. We getting it done, savage mentality. So it didn't matter what I felt, what I thought, anything. It was like, you're going to put on whatever face you got to put on because we need to get this. So like they say, you fake it till you make it kind of thing. It sounds stupid and it sounds like people don't really do it, but people do it. You know what I'm saying? You just don't realize it, which is why they make it. But even when I'm unsure of myself, I just talk to myself and be like, yo, why you nervous? Alright, cool. But you know what you know, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta walk myself through it and look outside of myself and reassure myself. I don't really look for other people to do that anymore because I've worked on myself. I've done the inner work. I've looked where that validation comes from, where that people pleasing comes from. So for me, I don't really look for the external to help me build my confidence like I did when I was younger. So number one, I definitely want to urge people to dig into their childhood. Most of who we are is kind of a shell or defense mechanism to what we just been through. And then we say that's who we are. And something traumatic will eventually happen that breaks that shell and tells you, no, that's not completely who you are. Remember? And then you got to do the work to reveal that peace, that love, that joy, that healing, that forgiveness. And when you get there, then that self-love, and cheesy again, I know. But then that self-love start hitting, and then boundaries start coming. And when you start sticking to your boundaries, that helps your confidence. Because part of confidence, lack of confidence, is not being sure of your decision. And that's why people don't want to make one. They're like, what you think? What you think? Because now if they do it, they'd be like, dang, I knew I shouldn't have listened to JoJo. No, you shouldn't just listen to yourself. Like, you still looking for an external place to blame. So you start getting more confident and you're still more willing to take accountability and all of that stuff. It's just a rotating cycle. The more you grow, the more you want to grow. So, you know, but it's also a chain of events that have to happen for you to get there. And like I said, you might have to fake it till you make it for a little bit, but you'll get there if you understand the goal, the mission is to get the job done and then be a better you. And not worry about what other people think. Because even when you're confident, you worry about what other people think, right? It's okay to listen to other people's perspective. I like challenging and opposing views. I don't like ignorant ones. So I'm willing to listen and learn. And that's a part of confidence building. Be so sure of yourself. Know that you don't know it all. And that you need people, and God's going to bring people around you to help you. And that's how I kind of maintain my confidence, is not looking for the external to validate it, because I've done work that needs to be done for me. And learning to be content in whatever space I'm in, and also being willing to grow, because then that makes you soft on yourself. Part of lack of confidence because you're hard on yourself. You're supposed to be this, you're supposed to do that, you're supposed to da 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 da. And the more you break yourself down, the less confidence you have. So when you start living in a space of this is where I am, this, and you know, understanding and embracing and looking at life differently, that confidence is going to be there, because it's no longer about what's going on here. It's just about how you feel about yourself. I'm not organized and I'm not disciplined. But what I am is determined. So when I realized, because of self-awareness, which goes into play with confidence, is all part of it, and that's why you got to work on all areas. But once I got to the place where I was aware that I was lacking discipline, that I was aware that I was lacking organization, it said, well, if you want this, what do you need to do? And I don't have a personality, A-type personality, so I had to do things like visual is big for me. the vision board, when I started it in I think 2020, COVID happened. Yo, that's when I saw the power of manifestation, the power of laying something out and looking at it every other day or throughout the weeks for a whole year, and then watching your life actually do it. So for me, visual is very big. And my phone, if I have an idea, if I have a thought, like today I'm starting with intention. So I just wrote out literally what I want done today, literally. And just today, if I feel overwhelmed, just today. Sometimes I do a week. And it's a checklist, and I do it every day, and that builds discipline, but it also builds me getting the goal done. So yeah, that's a big thing for me, creating visuals, whether it's writing it down or imagery, and making it visible for me every day. That's totally helpful, because keeping it up here is cool, but it don't hit the same without time, deadlines, and focused and intention. Because then you're just floating through the day like, oh, what do I need to do? Oh yeah, let me go check my phone. Like, you know what I'm saying? But if you got to write it down, you're going back to that. Oh wait, I'm chilling watching TV. What? Oh wait, TV off. Boom. You know, some people do power hour. My cousin hit me up to that. She was like, you just pick a particular certain amount of time and you say, this is dedicated to that. And that's all you do. For me, I work a 9 to 5. I like my job, and I was messing up a little bit because I was focused on the creative, so I had to learn to balance. So what I said to myself is, when I'm at work, I'm at work, and when I'm doing creative, I'm doing creative. I'm not mixing the two, and I'm not watering it down. I am in it the whole experience for both moments, 100% in. I'm not at work saying, oh, let me do. No. And that's helped me too, making a hard stop on the two. Necessary. I mean, what am I going to do? I'm going to give you a long description of what we already know about how we feel when we're in love. But what people fail to realize is it is necessary, because if people realize it was necessary, they wouldn't be as toxic, as screwed up they are when they use that word and say, I'm in love, I love you, I want to be loved. You would be careful with how you're acting if you really knew how important it was to have it in your life. Like air. You know air is important. You don't want to be in anywhere that's a closed space, because it is a hindrance to your air. But we put out situations of suffocation every day with love, as necessary as it is, because you lock somebody out in silence. Like, it's a crime, right? To have a certain amount of time in solitary confinement. It's a crime. Like, if the prison system did that to you, you could sue them for, you know, if I'm not mistaken, I think I'm right, but y'all can fact check me. But yeah, because that companionship, that desire, that need as a human, you need it. And we have become a society that's so cold that we act like we don't care. Like today as I'm working, I listen to R&B soul. Like I don't even listen to rap like that no more. And the song that always comes on, like I have a particular playlist, and it's 2 songs, because Music Soul Child is obviously on the soul playlist. And it's Love, obviously, and it's Teach Me. And it's 3. It's Teach Me and it's Don't Change. Those 3 is like an escalation to somebody dealing with love. Love, the song. He's realizing what it is and how important it is, and he wants to get to know it because it's something he never even thought was possible for him. And then he asks the woman, that's another story, but he asks a woman to help him grow into that man that he's yearning to be for whatever reason. And then the payoff is this man that will love you for the rest of your life. Like, he created a love story right there. And that's the wave I be on. Like, I listen to my Nas, I listen to my Mobb Deep, but lately, past couple years, like, I really just be on my neo soul R&B vibe. Shout out Ari Lennox. Now, when we talk about new, I'll hit you with the new R&B is. But I like Ari Lennox, and it's the whole vibe. So that's what love is for me, and it makes me feel, and my boy always say men feel like this, but women feel like it too. It makes me feel like I can do anything. I already feel like I can do anything, but having a partner when you're down, like full transparency, today something, and that's how funny. I watched Sex and the City, and I'm sorry, I know I'm gonna wrap it up. There's a section where she says, I'm not happy all day, but I'm happy every day. And I thought of, like, when I heard it, I was like, that's dope. So today it was like I was happy today, but I wasn't happy all day. And it was a moment in it, and I was just like, dang, it would be nice if somebody came and rubbed my feet and just was like, oh, what's the problem? You be alright. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody just crave it at some point. It may be for 30 minutes, it may be for 30 years. I don't know. Point is, love makes you feel good when it's right. Or some people will say love is always right, because if it's wrong, then it ain't love. But that's another debate. I've been losing my mind, hey, don't try to pull me down. Hey, see? Song every time. Music is in my blood. No matter what, I'm always gonna do music, bro. I was just talking about today, I feel like going back to the booth. It's forever. Writing, music, all of this is forever. And like Chadwick said, I'm gonna keep doing it until I can't anymore. Oh, say, okay, I'm about sad. I'm the one that came in this track. Okay, Khalees might not be a good example since y'all just tried to cover her neck. Definition of a boss, I would definitely say someone who wants to make more leaders. I don't think it's dope to be a boss who just wants to keep everybody the subordinate. You respect and understand everybody is going to end up flourishing one way or the other, and you want to be able to deposit into them one way or the other as their boss in that time, because you respect you're not forever their boss. So a boss is someone that knows how to pour into people to help them flourish in their own path. A boss, definitely, money is a plus to be considered a boss, but a boss also knows how to adequately handle their money. So they should be able to disperse their money and save their money in a positive manner. A boss should be creating something valuable to their environment. So if you are not creating something valuable, I don't care if you own a record label, if everything you spit is trash, you may be a boss of something, but you're not a boss to me. And a boss is someone who just understands that at the top you're always going to be at the bottom, because everybody wants to be an entrepreneur because they don't want to answer to nobody. And I'm like, do you understand that when you are the boss, you answer to everybody because you have to deal with everybody's issues and concerns? Like, what did you think? You are not the COO and the CEO. You are still like employer boss energy. You are dealing with all those mundane things. So a boss has to understand that the work is to be a servant and not to be high and mighty on a high horse thinking they're just telling everybody what to do. But you should be rolling up your sleeves and getting dirty with the rest of them in the field, period. So for me, spirituality plays a big part in my life right now, where I'm at in the phase and place of my life, and I think that's what it's going to be. Like I've come to this space where spirituality is the number one thing for me. And to me, what spirituality means is accepting and believing that something or someone higher created me, and I look to them as a source of guidance, as a source of reverence, and as a source of love and protection. And for me, that's God. that I'm a Christian, so it's the Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Ghost. But for me, that's God. And so that's why when we speak of spirituality, I don't try to get too deep into telling. I don't think I've ever told someone they were wrong for what they believed in, because I dated an atheist, and he said one thing to me one day, and it's two different atheist exes. One said, "Yo, if you were born in like," and I hate if it's wrong, but India, where they like worship roaches, and that's where you grew up, you would worship roaches. And then another one, he would call out the King James. He's like, it was translated, and King James was an actual king in history. And he started giving me the history behind the Bible. So it was like, I'm somebody that in spirituality have been able to open myself up because I'm secure. Because one thing I tell people, I never really believed until I experienced. I think people can take you to church, you can hear the word, you may be able to feel something, whatever, but until you have a moment of experience where you say nobody but God did that, that's when you are more free to listen to everybody and say, "Oh, wildin', but I take that," because you're solidified where you at, but you're not ignorant, you're still humble, and you're still man or womanly enough to know I don't know everything. And as a believer, I understand respectfully things change in translation for me, things change in translation, but I don't know all the answers, and I'm always searching, i.e. Kyrie. Always searching. And so that's what spirituality is for me. For me, God, and I'll let you in on a little something. So as of late, I realized I stopped using the word he with God. I don't say he, and I think I started less using Jesus more, like, because yesterday I literally just say God, and I don't use the he. It's just like, God, you are God, whatever. And I mean, it may sound crazy to some people, like, why? But something I did learn about representation is, as a woman, I'm someone who's spiritual and carnal, so I'm always seeing a realistic portion of something. And as a woman living in a patriarchal society, that part of me questions, why is everything represented as man? Which I call it Mother Earth, but woman that gives life. So just my carnal place is going to ask that, but what I've experienced with God will never waver me to question him. But man is giving out a lot of information, and I got to question what y'all over here giving. That's the difference. I'm not questioning God. I'm questioning what's going on out here in these streets. So that's what it means for me, and that's where I'm at right now. Like, I just want to get deeper in prayer, because God is showing me things about, plans. As long as I do what I need to do, I can make happen. And I want to live up to my fullest potential, and God is showing me he's with me every way. Every single way. Good or bad. Because following God doesn't mean you're not going to have a bad time. It's just that you can find peace and comfort within that storm. So spirituality helped me with all of that. Career, you go through ups and downs, trials and tribulations in your career. You turn to a stable space. Love life, rocky, could go up and down, turn to a stable. One thing that's never changing for me is God's love. So that's why I realized by the time I got here and the way he showed up, I ain't got no choice but to finally put you first. But that's why I started taking out, because I'm like, why am I putting a gender to God?
Yeah, exactly.
Because for me, representation does matter, and if I want to see God in me, I don't want to say he. I just want to say God. I was watching a podcast the other day, that I was on. Well, my podcast that I had before what I'm doing now. And my answer to that question was invisibility. I was like, yo, I just want to be able to mess stuff up, take what I want, and just be out with the Harry Potter cloak. Yeah, I mean, switch it up. And so I'm going to ask myself, is that still the same answer? And for time's sake, because I can't really think of another one that I want. Maybe because of the year of 2022 I had, maybe I'll switch it over to teleporting. You know, those 11-hour flights, they'll be hitting, even though you get free wine. But teleporting would be nice, and instead of being invisible, I don't have to worry about that. I just teleport to another place. So I'm gonna step into that.
We teleport all 2023.
You know what I mean? What's up? It's your girl, Miss JL Domond, aka y'all know me as Miss Phenom. Yeah, I know I had to come through the Swim NYC and drop some gems. So came through. I got the Spirit of a Woman hoodie because y'all know I'm here because I'm also an author and I wrote my book. So if you ain't got it, you need to go to design2create.org to get this book. You feel me? And while you're there, you got to get the first book I did, which was Get Out of My Head. Both poetry books, but they also got murals, they got graffiti art, they got actual stories, they got a place you can write your own stuff. It's a vibe. And then I got my next book coming called A Black Girl's Thoughts in Haiku Form. I think it speaks for itself. So I hope that y'all go to design2create.org and check it out. I got YouTube videos, I got music videos, everything Miss Phenom, JL Domond, the multifaceted woman that you know when you love her, you see, will be there. Much love.
Why yo, hello, yo love, critically acclaimed. Ice Coast the name, good life. Good music a bouncing on me ears, the melody so sweet. Rhythm yes so bad, myself I put it on repeat. Baga hot y'all me see ya bounce and dancing at the street.